representing Japan. Nika Egadze, representing Georgia. Kao Miura, standing on behalf.
And welcome back to the Rinkside Cam. We are here with Jackie Wong. I'm so excited that he's joining me on this one. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the tweeting man about all. We are here for the men's practice.
I'm literally just chuckling at the way that they pronounced Deniss VASILJEVS just now. So that's what I'm here for.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, we are just getting it underway now. The guys just took the group, took the ice, and we're going to get it started. You can watch the men's short program on Saturday, October 19th. It's going to start at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can catch that on E. I would definitely suggest you should check it out. I'm sure it's going to be a really exciting event. Here you have the skating order on the screen. We're going to have 6 guys in this group and 6 in the next. It's going to be a really, really intense grouping, I think. You're going to see a lot of very fun programs, I hope. But if not, you're going to see some very exciting jumps.
Oh, we'll see some fun programs.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
I mean, this is the Japanese group, and, you know, we also have Deniss VASILJEVS. We got Wesley Chiu. Like we have Nika Egadze. Like it's a good group. This is I was looking at all of the competitors yesterday, and I was like, maybe besides Ilia Malinin as the sort of super favorite. There's just a lot of things that could happen.
There's a lot of room, right?
A lot of room.
A lot of room for people to step into that and see what they can do. I'm excited because I've done a couple shows with some of these younger guys. Did a show in the summer with Deniss and Kao as well, and it was so cool watching them just on the daily push one another. Even though we were doing shows in the practices and whatnot, they were just so explosive. So explosive.
I mean, Kao, we'll look at him in a little bit, but like Kao at a random summer domestic competition landed 4 quads and scored 200 points. The Japanese skaters, because they start off their seasons so early with domestic events, and also they like to debut at least one of their programs during one of the shows that they skate in. Like they come in very ready, and we've seen that from Kao Miura, especially the last couple of seasons on the Grand Prix. Although after that super competition in July, his last couple of months have been maybe a little bit less consistent than we've expected from him. So I guess we'll see.
We're gonna look out for that. What do you look for? Like, I mean, when you're watching men's skating, obviously the jumps and all of the elements, whatnot, but is there anything in particular that you're drawn to when you watch?
I think for me, the thing that's so great about practice is just the variety of things that skaters work on. And I'm always curious about how they pace their practices. Because there will be some skaters who, especially if they're skating later on in the group, they will literally just be doing skating skill drills the whole time. You know, moves everywhere, right? Like, and while, you know, like there was always, I remember watching Vincent Joe back in the day, like it was a long time ago. Watching Vincent Joe, he would always start off his practices with a triple Lutz. Like he would literally just go out there and do a Lutz.
Really?
Yeah, and that was like, it was just a thing that like helped him get his legs under him, and then he'll go and do a bunch of like run through drills.
It's been really interesting, just like you said, watching people's approach. I mean, some people have been taking the practices more of a technical approach. Like when I was watching the women's earlier, I think that you could see some people were really trying to displace the elements and then go for more a transitional run through, and then you see others that are really wanting to throw the jumps out there and try their passes. Usually the skaters later in the group that have a little bit more time to get accustomed to the spacing and the ice gives them that chance.
Yeah. And you see here also, Grand Prix are always an interesting piece because there's usually 1 day of practice, like full practice, and then the next day is competition time. There's going to be another practice at that point, but they don't really get that many reps on the ice before they compete. Whereas when you're at a Nationals or Worlds or Olympics, you just get a lot more time to settle into the ice. And so the first practices, especially for the freestyle skaters, the first practice is often about feeling the ice and understanding how your edges are pulling on, and like, is the ice hard, is the ice soft, like what's going on, and what kinds of adjustments do you need to make before you start launching into jumps. And so far, all I've seen is Kao Miura doing jumps. The rest of the 5 guys have not.
Yeah. That's true. Here we're starting with Wesley for his program run through.
Not surprising that he's marking jumps since he has not had any jumps run through so far before this run through.
Yeah, like first out of the gate, I was saying that earlier today too. It's like when you're skating first in these first practices, it's always like a little bit more of an adrenaline rush. You want to really make sure you're settled and you have your spacing right, because if you don't put yourself in the right spot for some of these elements, you're going to really have a bad trickle effect.
Yeah, Wesley's an interesting one because he's such a strong technician, but then when he gets into competitions, it's been up and down for him. And like even earlier in the season, there was I remember the challengers that he was in landed just a beautiful quad toe triple toe, and then kind of the rest of the program went out of just didn't feel like he just had the confidence to go and do the rest of the jumps, right? And a lot of his fans get a little bit frustrated about that, and rightfully so, because he is such a talent.
Yeah, I mean, especially at those early events, and even for Grand Prix, it's hard to build that trust in your program, because I think that you're still trying to find those ebbs and flows to know where you can put that foot on the gas and where you need to put the foot on the gas to make it keep going.
So when you watch freestyle step sequences with an ice dancer, what do you think?
Well, I think that like the quality for the turns, it's very different, because like the cadence that they need for their clusters is very different. We don't have a cadence that's required for our 1 foot sections, for instance, or even our turns. I mean, other than in like the partial step, do we have to do 2 beats in and 2 beats out or less? But other than that, we can do whatever timing we want. I know that with these freestylers, they need to keep that consistency moving, and it's harder when you're bouncing from edge to edge, realistically, to get that cleanliness.
I really love, though, when you see someone fully committed to the performance of that step sequence and not just trying to get clean turns.
In your practices, you're kind of
Yeah, you blend in.
yeah,
You blend in and
you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, right? For
a
that.
little bit. Like you really want to commit to that, and I know that it's so important to have these jumping passes be so clean for them, and I can't imagine the focus that that requires. But
I find it interesting that they didn't stop the music. It's still going.
super curious about that. I was like, wow, like they know it's not his.
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting his phone, maybe? Wait. This is different. Oh, yeah, he is getting his phone. I wonder if they have a dongle.
We're all wondering.
Hopefully he put on airplane mode and doesn't get a call from somebody as it happens. Yeah, that would be wild.
Right. But you were saying, kind of keeping that space and getting,
Skating his free skate program.
really getting your choreography in during competitions. You skated singles a little bit, right?
Not really. No, not
very
really. I was more of like an improv showcase kind of guy before I decided to do ice dance, and that was because the times I did do singles, I was improvising the program after the first jump.
Oh, there you go. Improv.
Mm-hmm. What I do like, what I'm seeing already is just like, as that, like he seems like there is the emphasis on these transitions for him. I feel like energetically he's trying to step himself into that. I mean, rehearsing something that you don't want to perform doesn't make much sense to me. And I think that like if you want to be able to perform it like this, it's important to put yourself in the headspace to skate it like that.
I mean, one thing that Kao's been working on over the past couple of seasons is just that commitment to music, and I think it is something that I know he has been incredibly focused on. Because for a long time, it's been like, oh, he's got the jumps, but like, where's the connection to the music? And I think last year was a spot where he really started to come into his like, who am I as a skater? And I think this year's programs are great.
I just love it because it automatically grabs you whenever you're that committed. And it doesn't matter what's happening around, like you're holding that space. And I think the more you're committed to something, the more people can connect with it with you.
I mean, he also just like skating wise picks up speed and power so quickly
So effortlessly.
Yeah, and you immediately are drawn to him, right? Like he took a break in the middle there, which probably was his step sequence, and then right away, second half of the program, he goes out and he's like, oh, okay, we're gonna go watch him again.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like you didn't see this whole transitionally skated piece. My gosh.
Yeah.
You feel that he feels it. I'm seeing the music through his movement. Well, skaters,
Some of those little details, right?
Yeah.
Like even that last
Their short program.
Yes.
right at the end with his arms. Like I love how this program is looking right now.
I was just about to say, like, when that's skated clean and in the right setting,
Yeah.
it's going to be awesome.
like maybe at a Boston Worlds where
Yes.
the crowd is electric.
Would love it. Koshiro is such a performer.
He was in one of the shows you were in, right?
Yeah. Japan Stars and Ice after the Olympics, and he had like a really big role in it. It was so fun to watch him just go nuts.
Nice.
Wow.
Might have been a little short. The thing about a lot of Asian teams too, I was saying earlier about them being ready for this, a lot of them skated at regionals last month, and so like, they've already had to be in situations where they feel like they need to qualify. Some of them get buys, right? But it is a very competitive realm over there.
I love his like base of skating skill though. For me, I think that he's so aware of where his weight is at all times. I can't speak for the jumps themselves, but in terms of like just transferring from back to front or front to back, like there isn't really readjustment times. He's very clear on where he wants to go, and I love that so much.
I've always found though a lot of counter rotation in his skating. And that's the stuff that can trip you up a lot.
Yeah. I also noticed like with him and Pao, and they show that every step counts for them. Like they're letting me know that they're not mailing it in on little in betweens or anything like that.
Great program.
Yeah, it's fun.
Really great program.
So suited to him as well. Like even the gentleness and the tenderness of the voice seemed like it fit his skating.
Yeah.
Who skates on behalf of Japan. Nozomu will be followed by Deniss VASILJEVS.
Oh boy. That was an audible oh boy for me. Deniss VASILJEVS.
exactly. Like how he skates, like it's so clear that he's using his hip, knee, and ankle like so much. I know that's like very technical in terms of things, but that's what I look for. Like how efficient of a skater can you become? Not throwing away inefficiencies by sacrificing little things here or there.
That's me. I was an inefficient skater. Everything took way too much energy. Yes.
Skating on behalf of Latvia, doing their free skate program, welcome Deniss VASILJEVS.
No comment. No comment.
Right.
Yes.
I've had my fair share of different names being pronounced for mine, so it's all good.
Yeah, what do they call you?
Jean-luc.
Jean-luc.
I got Jean-luc Barker a couple times. It's like, okay, it's cool.
For the price is right.
Yeah.
Okay, this program is amazing.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm ready.
Like, just watch the way that Dennis's body is, like, the shapes that he creates in this program are just a magnificent program.
His artistry is something I've always really admired within his skating.
You don't see quite as many ballets these days in skating.
No.
And part of it is it's hard to do.
So hard to be elegant and strong all at once, but keeping that effortlessness of glide, because you can't be static or stiff in your knee at all or your ankle, but you need to be upstairs, like in that ability to show clean lines.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's also just like, there are skaters who skate to ballet music who are skating to the music, and there's some skaters like Deniss who are trying to actually embody a ballet performance in their skating, right? So they're two very different and very different and difficulty things.
Absolutely. A little close to the wall there. It's not going to move. That's what first practices are for. All of those like little extra held edges he did there are very hard. Like very challenging to like maintain the stability because he wasn't going very fast over the ice.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I think that like
Almost hit the boards there.
yeah. I was gonna say I think that like without that little board mishap, he seems to like that wall over there a little bit. So I think that just a pattern adjustment.
Well, I think what's interesting about that choreo sequence was the first time he did it in the season, it was much slower, and it was choreographed that way to be much slower, so that to your point around when you're slower, it's actually harder to hold the edge.
So hard.
But then it didn't seem like the judges appreciated it as a slow thing, and so I think they've added power to it, and now it's going toward the boards a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little stuck over there, but I think if you can open that up a little bit, working the patterning before, I think that, I mean, everyone loves a moment, at least in my opinion, where you can breathe with the skater and you can actually take in what's happening when there's so much in a program that happens. I think having just a moment to like appreciate what's just happened, I think is so important. And yeah, I mean, speed for something like that is going to always be easier. Like standing on the ice standing on 1 foot's always going to be harder than a 1 foot glide. 100%.
Yeah.
And the more speed you have a 1 foot glide, the easier it is.
Yeah.
So same concept.
I remember one of my very first memories of like competitive figure skating was Christy Yamaguchi's free skate from her Malagueña free skate, where she does this spiral basically on a standstill.
Whoa.
And again, like when I was a kid, I was like, why is this so hard? And then and then you looked at it and you actually try to do it. It's like, oh, that's why it's so hard.
Yeah. Momentum's not working for you.
Yep. It's the same thing with edges, right? Like the more power and speed you have going into an edge, the more that you can just use that momentum to hold or rip into an edge. It's much harder when you are at a standstill. Yeah.
I agree with that completely, but I think there's a fine line too, because you can see people just absolutely power through a corner and try to hit an edge, and if they're not stacked over their body properly, like that's going to run away from them faster than they can imagine. Yep. And then you're like talking about, again, inefficiencies and not really being like that effortlessness to the skating.
Kao Miura left the ice early. I was trying to figure out what was going on with his jumps. I'm looking at my notes here. A loop, a flip, did an axel with a foot down, and then tried a bunch of quads and didn't rotate them, and looked like he was just. I don't know if it was discomfort with the ice or discomfort with the jump. I'm not sure what was happening, but he left the ice early.
Looked a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Something was... All the stars weren't aligned that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I saw Nika Egadze was warming up the quadlets. He has one. He does not... He hasn't done it in competition yet, so not sure if he's actually trying to do one or just practicing. So, but he's got his jacket on now, so no more quadlets. It was. Step out of a quad style from Koshiro just now.
Do you find that in the men's practices they use the full practice, or they end up tapping out a little earlier?
They often use the full practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly because there is a lot more of a pacing to them. Most people won't jump through an entire practice.
No.
But there are a lot of, I feel like there are a lot of skaters, because they maybe aren't known for certain things, right? Like, I'm not known for jumps, or I'm not known for spins, or I'm not known for whatever. They will go the extra mile to go and demonstrate that they are practicing these things because they know the judges are watching.
Right.
But also because it's extra ice time, right, for them to continue to do the things that they want to do.
I mean, they're probably used to skating 2.5+ hours a day for the most part, and hitting just 40 minutes a day. It's like a blessing and a curse. It always is like restful to an extent, but then, it's a lot more content to get in.
It's so different, right, than a normal day.
Yeah. I was always saying, actually, like, emotionally, like, competition practices were always significantly more tiring, because it felt like there were at least in ice dance, we're on the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're on and you're being watched, understandably, like that's the sport we're in. But I think that like having moments of decompression that you have when you're at home training doesn't happen nearly as much when you're on competition ice.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it can be so taxing.
Koshiro Shimada just looks like he's flying across the ice.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, go hold that outside edge. Nice. Wesley Chiu just trying that quad toe over and over again. I saw him land one earlier in the session. That's usually what happens with him is the pops. Just like I do think like part of it is he's very precise as a skater. And so if he's just a little bit off, his body will just say, no, not doing it.
Do you think it's a trust thing, or?
I think it's a trust thing. Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Nozomu with the quad lutz, which you're not seeing on the screen, but I'm seeing right now. A lot of quad lutzes in this competition potentially, or at least the ability to do them is there. And if you're a Deniss VASILJEVS fan, you know that he will just drill those Salchows in practices because he just wants to prove that he can get that quad down in real life.
Nika's wrapped up his practice, got off the ice a little bit early. 3 minutes left in this one. That was a good catch by Koshiro. Yeah.
Ooh, I see a comment here from someone missing Jean-luc and Caitlin. Please come back.
We miss you all as well.
There's 1 minute remaining in this practice.
All right, 1 minute remaining. We got the American men coming up next on this second group.
Deniss wants that loop.
He really wants that loop. It's interesting because I always feel like he definitely always starts off his practices, and by he I mean Deniss VASILJEVS, starts off his practices with triple loops, and sometimes he will finish with one. It's like a comfort jump for him.
It's like a start and a close.
Yeah,
It's the same
like
thing.
it's just part of the routine, you know.
Well, he's hustling right now. Big spread.
Look at that. Oh, you're not seeing it on the camera. It's so sad.
This practice is now concluded. Please exit the
A
ice.
beautiful bestie squat.
The following competitors are taking the ice for a 6-minute warm-up,
And a spread eagle to
after which
finish.
program music will be played once for each competitor in the following
Did you
order.
have
Kevin Aymoz,
a
skating on behalf
certain
of
bow
France.
that you used to do
Francois
after practices?
Pitot, skating on behalf of France.
We had a practice bow and a competition bow.
Ah.
So like one was like a little less,
Lucas Broussard,
like I didn't
skating
send
on
her out.
behalf
We
of
just
the
did a quick
United
little up
States of
down,
America.
like a thank you.
Ilia
more than anything else, and then had a more take our time before the competition one. So we're starting our second grouping now. Another really exciting grouping coming out here. Wonder how many backflips Ilia is going to throw out.
Oh. Don't get me started on backflips.
I haven't seen any yet today, so.
Yeah, I think Ilia is the only one finding one.
Yeah. I would imagine in this grouping, yeah, I think so.
Very interested to see what Kevin Aymoz does at this event. It's been a rough few competitions for him.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people were maybe a little bit surprised that he has decided to continue competing.
Yeah.
And I think it's part of it. I do think it's like, you know, he loves the sport and he loves the competition.
Yeah.
But also when you get scared of it,
Yeah.
it really messes with you. The American guys here are interesting, right? Because you got Ilia, who is a known quantity. You got Max Naumov, who always skates well at nationals and then can't put it together internationally.
Yeah.
And then you got Lucas Broussard, who I thought last year he was going to be, you know, having some kind of breakthrough for senior season, and all kinds of stuff happened, and
Yeah.
it wasn't there. I mean, he is such an all-around package.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. He has a really nice skating skill to him, and I think that I'm excited to see, like, I was at a U.S. Champs Camp earlier this year, and I got to see some of these programs, and I'm excited to see how it's developed.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot in him, and a lot of, like, grace, which I believe needs to be more redefined, or, like, refined, excuse me. But I think that when that is, and then he steps into who he is a little bit more, once he figures that out, I think it's going to be really nice. Donovan, crowd favorite. Like, he is such an energy.
Where are my Donna fans? A lot of drills going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's really feeling that ice. Everybody's trying to figure out what this ice is.
Yeah. Ilia looks settled. He's here for the ride right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Anytime he'll just whip out a quad.
yeah, I mean,
Anytime. The last guy here we haven't talked about, Francois Pitot. He won French Masters just a couple weeks ago. I think he's a great talent too. Like he had a really good Junior Grand Prix last year. French men getting much deeper over the past couple of seasons.
Mm-hmm. I've noticed that as well. I'm excited to see what material Donovan comes out with. I'm sitting next to Jackie right now, and I don't know how you do all of the things that you do at the same time while commentating. I must be honest, like, you're making all these practice notes, you're reading, checking, tweeting, all the things, so it's very cool.
If anybody's ever seen me, like, at my seat doing all of this, it's literally I'm having multiple conversations while I'm typing.
Wow.
So I'm scaling it down for this because, you know, pay attention a little more.
Skaters, there's 1 minute remaining in your warm-up.
I think Kevin Aymoz is starting us off here in these run-throughs. I saw him earlier today, and he was telling me he's just trying to change the way that he thinks about competition. He's trying to have fun a little bit more, you know, that sort of thing.
It's a challenge. Like if you find yourself in that place to find a way out, if it is something that you are afraid of, or trying to dim the stories that you have told yourself or other people have created from performances that you've done, knowing that you can change the narrative at any point, but it's just hard. It's a big internal battle, and to be out there understanding that everyone's watching you and judging you for what you're producing, it's challenging.
On behalf of France, welcome Kevin Aymoz. Kevin will be followed by Francois Pitot.
Starting us off will be Kevin.
But then also, you can kind of call it a butterfly.
Yeah, just like a really, really steep one.
A really steep butterfly, yeah.
He has some really cool tricks in his repertoire.
Yeah.
Audible cheering from the crowd in the arena for Kevin Aymoz.
Skating their short program, welcome now Francois Pitot, who skates on behalf of France. Francois will be followed by Donovan CARRILLO.
Some intricate stuff there. Wow.
Familiar music for figure skating fans.
Yeah. I said earlier today, like, there's more tangos and singles than there are in ice dance now.
Well, the rhythm dances in the tango.
That's true. Facts. That's true.
There is something about Libertango that just makes people want to skate to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about this all the time with folks, right? Like, there's always the camp of people who are like, I love figure skating because I love figure skating more when I hear familiar music that I know.
Yeah.
And then there's the camp that's like, why are you all like? There are many other tangos you can skate to. Why are you skating to Libertango? And there is that sort of like, when you are a skater and you're growing up as a skater, you watch skating. And for me, it was like, there are these like kind of iconic programs where you're like, I just remember that music and I want to skate to it. And when you grow up,
Yeah.
you kind of, that's what you do.
And to be honest with you, like, I think could be a hot take, and I'm sure you'll be able to find other ways to challenge it. But I think when you're more of an up-and-coming skater, using music that is more well-known helps you become more of an established skater. Whereas if you do something that is unknown, and if it's not perceived well, then you will get lost.
Yeah.
So if you do something that people already know and have some form of attachment to, whether you get compared to or not, I think then it helps you to an extent straight away.
Donovan be followed by Lucas Broussard.
Although I think Bolero is a different story.
Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous. It's
very
very
dangerous.
dangerous. It's very dangerous. Same with like Moulin Rouge or other things like that. There's a huge list of them.
Yeah. All right, Donovan CARRILLO.
So we got.
He hit everything that I saw in warm-up just now. Quad style, triple axe, triple toe. It's always a little scary when you're like that was one of those instances where, like, as a skater, it's like, oh no, I don't know where I am, and then you don't know how to break your fall, right? You saw that he fell on basically on his arm, rather than on his hand, and he didn't break his fall. Those are scary things.
Just taking the heat in the shoulder.
I don't think he could have really pulled off a program like this a few years ago.
No, I don't think so.
Like he's known for the fast pace, like play to the crowd kind of programs, and I think I remember whenever he did something that was a little bit more subtle and slower pace, it kind of fell short. And I think it's very different this season. I think he's grown a lot artistically.
Yeah. You're seeing it, I mean, like within the skating itself. He's like ready for more of a exploration piece like this, I think.
Oh, here we go. Speaking of which,
Okay. You can still keep
we
it
know
close to home.
we know that was coming.
Keep it close to home still. Did a leg out twizzle going into that. That was almost like a full ice dance feature.
Skating the free skate program on behalf of the United States of America. Our next skater is Luca BROUSSARD. Luca will be followed by Ilia Malinin.
I did like that a lot. I wish when he skated, I felt like a little bit more of a commanding of the space. I see the beauty in what he does, but I also see the little subtle question of it too. I want him to know it's good, and it's like enough, and you can always get more. But I wish I felt that command of what he creates a little bit more. Because he does do quite a few things that are exquisite.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossovers on that corner, though, for me.
Yeah, but then you get that spiral.
It's true, true. Yeah, you're right. But you could hide them a little. You could mix it up with a chasse mohawk back crosscut 3-turn. Wow. Oh, that was deep.
Everyone's Four Seasons moment.
Mm-hmm.
That Lutz, such a beauty.
Yeah, like here for me, he seems too nice. I want him to show that command that I know he can, it's gotta be in there, I know. And then I feel like it's a character change throughout the piece that I'm experiencing as well.
Skating the short program, welcome Ilia Malinin, who skates on behalf of the United States of America. Ilia, be followed
Next
by
we have Ilia.
Maxim Naumov.
It's been a low jump practice for him. I saw a quad flip and a triple axel.
He did a lot of drills.
Yeah.
There's, wow.
And we're gonna get marked. Gonna be marked. And this is very much supposed to be light jump practice for him.
Mm.
I do think the thing that Shaylin has been working on with him is forms, like body forms.
Yes.
That's, I think, trying to kind of play to his strengths as something of an acrobat, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was actually just saying that there's some things that he does, I mean, disregarding backflip and whatnot, but he just puts himself in positions
Yeah.
that he can get himself out of, and it looks very intentional, and it very much might be, but it's just so impressive. What I appreciate too with what he's bringing to his skating now, particularly like the skating side of it, is more just the clarity of what he wants from it. And within the movements themselves, I feel like he knows his A to B of movements, not just I'm supposed to do this move and 3 steps
Right.
later I have another one. It's intentional.
Like a conscious understanding of the music and where the choreography goes, rather than just I'm doing the choreography.
Correct. There's an effort that I see to strengthen those parts of the skating.
And then sometimes he gets a little out of control, just like that one. I mean, he really throws himself into those.
In terms of commitment, that's not something you can ever question with him. He's going to commit to every single thing he does. If it's on his plan and it's part of what he wants, he's going to do it. Cool. I like how there wasn't too much in that. There was enough moments of changes of cadence within movement and skating, but also like digestible. Like all of it felt digestible, which I really appreciated.
I mean, they could have put a backflip in there and they did.
more clear on what direction he wants to take it.
There's approximately 10 minutes remaining in this practice.
Quad axel from Ilia, step out. Send us your questions. See what kind of questions you got here. Francois Pitot with the quad sal, very nice.
We've been asked what our favorite costume of the competition.
I haven't seen that many yet.
I have not either. I've only seen a couple ice
The
dancers.
ice dance ones.
Yeah.
You know, Maddie Chalk's rhythm dance dress. I like the way that it kind of
Classy.
classy, but also like the way that it works with her spinning. Right, like I thought that was very cool.
I thought it was quite rich. Like I always find that she comes out looking very elegant for the most part.
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough costumes to make a comment on that one yet, to be honest.
I mean, it's men's practice, right? So we're gonna get a bunch of black costumes here.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Black costumes.
One
I mean,
short sleeve training top and
Yep.
another one, and then 2 long sleeves.
Yeah, yeah. Kevin's bringing the color with blue. So we got. When did a half loop become an Euler? Well, it's always been an Euler. We just used to, I mean, I still call it a half loop, although I just did say Euler. But no, it's kind of like, you know, when did the loop become a Ritberger? It's always been just kind of different ways of calling the same thing, I guess. But I do find it interesting that the ISU decided to use Euler as the term, and I actually wonder if that's more of a European terminology, because we all grew up with half loop in the States. Or maybe it's just easier to notate on a protocol.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Ilia's hammering these jumps now.
Quad toe, triple toe, huh?
I think it might have been a Lutz.
A Lutz?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was his Lutz corner. Makes sense.
I was looking over the wall and I couldn't see because of where we're at with the wall.
Luca doing a
It's unreal.
It was just like the way that he was just flowing through. It was like an assertively done yoga flow, right? Like every movement was just one after another, and that was beautiful.
I agree. Ilia looked so casual going into that triple axel this time.
Like triple axel.
Whatever. No problem.
I'll just try it. It's fine.
See what we got.
Single axel.
Wow. Wow, Lucas Kina Bauer on that.
Yep. Oh, I think that was actually on air.
Yeah, that one was.
I also love how the universal "I'm done with jumps" is putting on your jacket.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm just gonna let everyone know we're good.
Yep. It's not like they're cold. Just watch. We just saw BROUSSARD with a couple of just beautiful edges. The same thing. It just kind of just watch how you hold a move, and it's like the core control is phenomenal.
Yeah, Lucas has such an effortlessness to his skating. On the screen now, Leah's setting up another jump.
Beautiful quad sal from Max.
Skaters, there's one
He's
thing
been doing a lot of
practice.
triple axels, Ilia. It's
He
kind
has,
of,
huh?
huh?
He has.
He has, yeah. Just I think trying to get his timing. And he's like also just slightly over rotating that triple axle such that he has to step out of it. Here it goes again, one more. Yeah. Just, easy triple axle.
Right.
There it goes.
Walk in the park.
Yeah. His dad on the sidelines being like, a little higher, a little higher.
So, final moments of this men's practice today. It's pretty exciting, not gonna lie.
Fun, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
There will
Love
now
to
be
see
a
what these
brief
guys do.
intermission while the ice is resurfaced. We'll begin again with our pairs practice at 2:45.
Pairs practice in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It's been so much fun having your insight and all of that. This has been such a great experience, and I mean, I had so much fun with you last time we did it at US Champs, and hope we get to do some more.
Let's do this some more.
Yeah. So what we got left on the schedule for today is the pairs practice, which will be in about 15 minutes, just after a quick exam. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Tune in for that one. And thank you, Jackie. I can't thank you enough. Rocker skating here with us. Really appreciate it.
We did it.
We did it. That's it. We did the thing. So check it out. And you will see the men's short program on Saturday, and it'll be at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can check it out on E!
We welcome you to the most important annual event in American skating. It's anyone's game when the skaters take the ice tonight at Nationals. Ham and O'Shea win the gold medal. Simply the best in the world.
The way that he moves across the ice is just like butter.
March 25th through the 30th, 2025, the world comes to Boston and the TD Garden. Over 300 of figure skating's best will compete at the 2025 ISU World Figure Skating Championships for the title of World Champion. The world's most celebrated skating competition returns to Boston and the United States for the first time in 9 years, and you can be there. Advance tickets are on sale now. Visit isuworlds2025.com for more information and to buy your tickets today.